Hello and welcome to ET Auto. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Sunjay Kapur. We are meeting him at the Component Show in Prakriti Maidan, which is the heart of Delhi National Capital. Thank you. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, how was the overall response to the Component Show, and what is the sentiment, about the industry?
The response has been excellent. We've had more footfalls than we ever imagined. The stalls are done up in a very, very, I would say, spectacular manner in terms of the layout, in terms of the product technology, in terms of all the innovation. And I think it's also a result of all the disruptions that's happened in the industry. And all that has resulted in a lot of innovation, a lot of investment in R&D, and that's reflective of all the products that are here. And it's very reflective of what's happening globally in terms of R&D and innovation, and the way the industry is moving in a very disruptive way.
Very rightly put, it's the reflection. Component shows a reflection of the what industry is working on currently and what the future looks like. So, what kind of products one can see around in the component show? Is it the mix of fuel or that you're talking about, like the flex fuel, hydrogen, or is it about the lightweighting, EVs? So, what all sort of things one can look at in the component show?
So I think there's definitely a big focus on electric vehicles because that's where the way the world is trending. There's a lot of focus on future technologies as well. Again, that's because of the fact that we're in an environment where we're also being encouraged by government to invest in future technologies. If you look at all the PLI schemes, that have been laid out by the government, it's all towards investment in future technologies. So there's a lot of future tech and I would say EV. And then, of course, because of the fact that the government of India is also pushing alternate fuels, so there's also technologies are revolving around alternate fuels. So I'd say there's a mix of everything. It's a great mix, and again, lots of great technology.
Tell us about how traditional component players are, working around and preparing for the future in when time it comes to the future of mobility technologies and the kind of fuel technology we're talking about.
So, if you look at the EV space, let's take that as an example because it's always talked about and often talked about. 70% of the vehicle remains pretty much the same. There's a 30% of the vehicle, which is engine, etc., which changes. Of the 70%, there may be a 30% that changes due to certain requirements, but in essence remains the same. However, if you look at what's happening in the new vehicles, going forward, 40% will probably be software driven. So if you remove that 30%, there's still another 40% that needs to be addressed. So I feel that companies are now investing in going down that road, whether it be ADAS, whether it be vehicle and safety technologies. All these technologies are now are extremely important and essential within a vehicle. So I think that's where the opportunities lie.
Being the ACMA president, you're looking at the auto component industry overall. How has been the performance so far, and how do you see the next fiscal year? Because there are a lot of talks around, that maybe there will be a dip in market because of the Russia-Ukraine war, supply chain crunch, and a lot of other inflation factors. So, what is your view on that?
So we've had a good positive last year. As you know, we reached pre-pandemic levels in terms of revenue, 56.5 billion. In the first half of this year, the first 6 months, we've reached 33 billion, which is, again has been a growth over last year. We have reached an export of 10 billion, 10.1 billion in fact, which is again comparable to last year. Last year we were at 19 billion the entire year. First half has been 10 billion this year. And if this continues, we'll see growth. Definitely, there is talk of a U.S. recession, maybe for a quarter or 2 quarters. However, the Indian market is growing. We're very bullish on commercial vehicles as well as passenger vehicles, as well as two-wheelers growing. So, we're pretty bullish that we'll have a positive year this year as well.
Uh, One last question around uh, talking about the EV focus of the technology. Are there any new age players that have participated in this component show?
So there's a lot of startups as well. So we've got that entire ecosystem going, which has been really exciting for us at ACMA because we've got PwC and ACMA working with the startup ecosystem. So you have that component, within the auto show. The other thing that you should look out for is collaborations, with non-automotive players and automotive players. And again, when I talk about collaborations, you're really looking at fields like electronics, fields like software, fields like, those kind of fields, because that's all becoming a part of the automotive industry. In fact, in ACMA, at the executive committee level, we've onboarded two electronics manufacturers who've, come from outside of automotive. And again, that's again reflective of where the automotive industry is moving and the direction we're moving in. So it's definitely, something it's the beginning of some of a revolution or an evolution that we're going to see, and there will be a lot of cross pollination between automotive and non-automotive, and a lot of collaborations, and that's really the way forward.
Budget is around the corner and everybody's eyeing it because of various reasons, investments, business looking for investment expansion. So what is your expectation on the from budget 2023, and how do you look at it? What kind of things you think will help automotive components specifically help to grow in the coming future?
So, as an industry, we're very happy and satisfied with what we have seen in terms of incentives. And I talked about PLI, FAME 2, etc. So, we're pretty satisfied with that. Our only ask really is, and I don't know if you can consider it as budget ask, but it's to have uniform GST for all components.
Uniform GST for all components.
So, we've got 40% at 28%. And then, so if we were to look at an 18% GST, that's, what we would really ask for, uniform GST.
Thank you so much for joining.